What's going on, YouTube? How's everybody doing? I am back with another video, guys. As always, thank you for all of your support. Thank you for all the new subscribers. You guys are freaking awesome. You guys are the best. Um, there's been a lot of talk lately about the 2024 models of TVs, but I'm trying to just slow that down a little bit because we are still in an era and a model a model year where the TVs are magnificent, and you know we're in that time frame right now of whether there's a lot of people out there that are still deciding whether they're going to go ahead and save the money and buy 2023 model, or they're going to wait for the 2024 models and wait for them to release and just see what the reviews are, what people are saying about the TVs as owners and things like that. So I want to kind of talk about, regardless whether you're looking for the current year model, which is the 2023, or you're waiting for the 2024 models to come out on these TVs. Um, just I want to just talk about certain categories that I personally look for when I purchase a TV, and just things like that. Just what I look for that is important to me that I'm going to assume is at least some of these topics will be important to you. So I'm not going to try to be long and in this video. I'm going to try my best to be as quick as possible, but that's basically what I want to talk about. The first thing for me personally that is important is picture quality and processing. Um, so it's funny because in the earlier stages or earlier times, years ago, I really didn't care about that. I was just like most people, the cheaper the TV, the better. All TVs are the same to me. And then I bought my first premium TV, and then I got spoiled, and I started learning more about them. Then I became in love with the technology, and I just get deeper and deeper into it. And um, you start to realize that once you have these TVs, they just kind of spoil you, and you really can't go backwards. That is a problem, and a good problem for me at least, because I enjoy my TVs. I have phenomenal experience with each and every one that I own, and I utilize these TVs. I actually use them every day. So you know, it's just for me, I just enjoy this a lot. So, again, I'm not a professional. I definitely do know my TVs a little bit more. Um, Day by day, I learn. I like learning them. But again, picture quality, processing, those things that kind of, once you have them in the premium TV level, you really can't go back just because of what you can do and how you can use and utilize your TV. Number two, um, definitely menu settings. The ease of menu settings, of basically how easy you can use and how easy they're accessible, and customization is another big thing for me. So, um, guys, I literally will spend an hour and change just to make sure I get my TV the way I want it to look. Each TV. And I know I'm not perfect and I'm not a calibrator, obviously, but I get it. I kind of fine tune them the way I like them. And, things that are important to me when I like these TVs. So when I set these TVs up in the way I like them. So that is extremely important to me. Is again the ease of how you use the settings, how to navigate through the settings and things like that. That is extremely important to me. I think that has a huge part in how I value a TV. It's very, very important to me. So I'm not into the TVs where they're really just plug and play and there's not much to them, and I'm restricted to how I can fine tune my TV. not a big fan of that. Um, Again, once you get a premium TV for the first time, and then you start to learn how you can customize your picture settings, sound settings, and things like that, um, you really can't go back because you start to learn how you actually want your TV to look instead of buying, let's say, a lesser TV that doesn't have a lot of features, not so much great processing for those features, where you can't really actually utilize your TV. That's not something that I enjoy, and I value that. You're able to do that on the more premium TVs. The more features and the less restriction through the settings is very high value for me. Um, so yeah, again, being able to navigate through those settings is extremely important. I don't like complicated settings. I don't like if I'm making a mistake through my settings, the settings not letting me or directing me in the right path or navigate to the the right direction that I have to go to in order to enable a certain setting that I want enabled. Um, so that's important to me as well because I don't want to sit there and spend an extra 15, 20 minutes on Google trying to find out why such and such setting can't be enabled because another setting that I have on the TV is enabled, which cancels out the other setting that I want to access. So um, being able to explain why through the settings or what I have to do in order to enable that setting is extremely important to me. That's something that I really have valued over the recent years with the premium TVs, and I would say the LG G3 is probably the best one for that. But again, I'll get into that later. So, and of course, hardware build quality. I mean, that obviously is going to probably be uh, most people's priority when purchasing these vehicles. I'm sorry, not vehicles. These TVs. And the reason why I say that is because when you're in the market and you're purchasing a excuse me a TV, you're not looking to if you're going to be looking to spending a lot of money, let's say $2,500, $3,000, getting the bigger sizes, you're getting the fours and fives of thousands of dollars. You're not going to be interested in something that feels cheap. So build quality is extremely important, which I'll go over that with other let's say subcategories. Um, but again, these vary depending on your own personal let's say priorities that you are looking for. Everyone has their own financial parameters. Everyone has their own opinion on where their value for their money is going to go. But value has a lot of different avenues and categories, and especially size versus price and what you get for your money is obviously going to be probably the biggest thing on your mind when you're purchasing the next TV. So I know that's important for many of us, um, but you guys, let me know if you have any questions in the comments on what you think you should purchase or any comparisons that you want to see while we are waiting for the next 2024 models to come out, by the way. So I just wanted to really just at least kind of tell you while these TVs are still current that you can go ahead and purchase and not feel guilty for purchasing a 2023 model. And whether you go for the S95C, the S90C, the A95L, the G3, the C3, you're going to get a premium TV and you're most likely going to be happy from it. I also recommend when you purchase your TV that you clarify or you understand the warranty on the size of the TV that you're purchasing, because there are some retailers out there that are reputable that will not let you return a TV no matter what, depending on what size you purchased, like over a certain amount of size. And I think anything over 65 inches is not returnable in a lot of retailers. So if you're going to go for a 77-inch or 75-inch, regardless of whatever TV you buy, just make sure that your size TV is returnable within a certain time frame and with no issues at all. You want to make sure of that. So um, just a pointer out there, because I've had situations where, because my TV was so large, I didn't read the return policy, and it definitely stated that at over a certain size, I was not able to return that TV at all. Um, but either way, that's fine. I got over it. I kept the TV and I moved on. Um, but yeah, so another thing that once you purchase your TV, you want to be able to, uh, have a good experience with your TV from beginning to end. And that to me has a lot to do with the OS. So all three of these TVs right here have good operating systems. I mean, LG uses WebOS. Um, the A95L uses Google's OS system, and then obviously the Samsung uses Tizen. Now, my thing with all three TVs is I'm not that big of a stickler when it comes to the operating system. As long as it works and as long as I know how to use it and navigate through it fluidly, easily, um, then yeah, I'm okay. Even if there is some lagginess, I'm not going to base my opinion off of the OS system. I just feel like no matter which OS system you go for, there's going to be a little bit of lag. There's going to be some freezing going on. It's just the way it is. It's always been that way. There's no way really around it. Over the years, yes, they do get better little by little. Those things get improved. And but again, I just don't feel like that should be a major deciding factor. I know there are people out there that truly are diehard Google OS fans or WebOS fans. I like all three of them. As far as which one I actually think is the snappiest and easy to maneuver through, you guys are going to think I'm crazy, but the Samsung S95C is the easiest one to go ahead and navigate through, because it's the fastest one. It's the least laggy one out of all of them. But as far as the actual menu goes for Tizen, I just think it needs a lot of work, and they should really go ahead and kind of work on that. And I think they are this coming year. So I'm happy to hear about that. The new Tizen operating system, I guess, is going to be a lot more snappier and easier to use. So happy about that. Um, and the other subcategories that a lot of people, or you should consider, is sound quality. I just feel like this particular category doesn't get spoken a lot or enough about, because most people, when they're purchasing a more premium TV, and I fully understand, you're going to go ahead and purchase an external sound system if you don't already have one. And I get it, but a lot of people also don't understand that there are a good fair amount of people who just can't do that. The reason why I say that is because if you live in either an apartment complex, condos, where you have neighbors that are either under you, above you, next to you, the walls are going to be thin. You're going to be able to hear everything, and you you have to, especially with condos, they have a lot of bylaws with sound interrupting. If your apartment or your condo is too loud, the neighbor can complain and you're going to have to pay a fine. So you're not going to be, you're kind of restricted to go ahead and get sound bars or external speakers and things like that. So, with that said, I would say that sound quality would be kind of one of those subcategories that are important to you, depending on your situation and where you live. Um, and sound quality for me out of these three TVs, the A95L just obviously just takes the cake and wins. It's actually really good on the 77 inch. And I'm pretty sure you guys have heard that plenty of times out there. But for what it is, it's very good. It's not groundbreaking, it's not full immersion, but for what it is, it has enough bass, it has great dialogue. The midtones are really good. Um, Maybe sometimes the higher pitches can sound a little tinny, just like any other TV. But again, overall, it is the best out of the three TVs, hands down. Um, so yeah, so those things right there are kind of to me the most important aspects of purchasing a TV. But I gotta say, guys, I think really and truly overall, picture quality, processing, um, menu customization and settings, the ease of it, those things are extremely important in my perspective when you're purchasing the premium TVs. Um, and again, as far as the value goes, that is very important to a lot of us. We all work hard. We all save our money for these situations. And we all, most of us would definitely plan on keeping these TVs for a long period of time. So we want to make sure we make the right decision and we don't break the bank doing it. So, it all really depends on what you personally like, uh, what your financial parameters are, things like that. But again, I would probably say that if money is no object or you really don't care about what the budget is, you really just want the best TV that you can possibly get in the 77-inch premium space, and you want either an OLED or a QD OLED, I would strongly recommend the A95L. It just is a solid TV. It checks off pretty much all the boxes that you can possibly think of as far as picture quality, processing, build quality, menu customization, gaming, upscaling, sound. It really does hit all the boxes the most out of these three TVs, the S95C and the G3. Um, and it's funny because a lot of people think I may be just a Sony fan, and that's simply not the case. So let me just explain, guys. I've owned more LG TVs than I have Sony and Samsung when it comes to premium TVs. So the the A95K, for example, last model, just simply not a fan. I just wasn't the biggest fan of that TV. I just thought for the price that it was versus the S95B, as you guys know through my videos, I had both. And I said it, um, numerous times in my previous videos. I just don't see why anybody would have chosen the A95K over the S95B. It was just not even close to worth it. The S95B was way too close to what the A95K was, and in a lot of other ways better. It was more colorful, it was brighter, it had and still has four 2.1 HDMI ports versus Sony's two 2.1 HDMI ports. So, and there wasn't any, at least for me, there weren't any dropouts on the TV while gaming. This year with the S95C, I've got tons of dropouts, and it was just a horrible experience with this TV here. I seem to have fixed it, but man, let me tell you guys, I don't think I've ever been more stressed out trying to fix a problem on a TV ever in my life than I have with the S9. I'm just talking about the time it took for me to figure it out was ridiculous. It was like 2.5 hours or whatever. I can't even remember exactly how long it took, but it was a really long night for me. And even when I figured it out, I was just still angry about how long it took for me to figure it out. But yeah, that's just, another thing that I just have a bad taste in my mouth about with Samsung. I've had QLED TVs with the same issue, um, that did not have the One Connect box back then, and still had the issue. I thought that maybe it would have been fixed because the S95B didn't have any of those issues. So I was like, oh, okay, well that's good. That means that issue has been resolved. And then lo and behold, I get the S95C, and the dropouts are still happening with the PS5. And I knew that it was going to be an external issue, um, because when I connect the Xbox Series X, there were no issues. But when I connect the S95B, I'm sorry, the PS5 to the S95C, there were dropouts. So I knew it was a handshake issue, and I did everything on the S95C side, and then there's still dropouts, and then I went through the settings on the PS5, switched a few things, and it finally worked. But man, I'll tell you, it wasn't easy. So, I'm hoping that Samsung figures this out in the future, and hopefully on the next model. But that's basically how I personally feel about these TVs. The A95L for 2023, honestly, guys, hands down, is the best TV out of all three of these TVs. It's just a joy. It's just a great TV, and I'm trying to be as transparent as I possibly can in this video, but um, the LG G3 to me comes at a very, very close second. It's just times where when you get to scenes where things require to be a little bit more close up, um, you have those fine details that the XR processor can get out of the uh, the TV on the A95L. It's truly a different level. And that doesn't even, excuse me, that doesn't even mean to say that the LG just can't get high level details, because it does. But it's not at the level that the A95L can. And it really does spoil you. Um, and obviously, being that it's a QD OLED, you do get more color purity with either the S95C and the A95L. It's just that simple. The color purity is better, but that doesn't mean that the LG doesn't have its strengths. The G3 does not have its strengths over the A95L or the S95C. There are plenty of times where I'll stare at the TVs and I gravitate towards the LG G3 because just the contrast looks better most of the time in the LG G3. It looks really good. Um, like there was this one scene where I was playing, and there's just a lot of fire and flames going on. And although the flames and the actual fire in the scene of the video game I was playing looked a lot more vibrant and uh, more realistic in the A95L, the surroundings around that fire had a better contrast with the G3 than the A95L. It just looks like the objects surrounding the fire popped out more. It had more of a depth perception or a 3D look to it. It just had that way about LG that I just know them for. And I can't give that up. I just can't. I just wish that there was a way I can blend all three of these TVs into one. Um, but you can't, because they all have their strengths. They all have their own signature advantages over one another. But I gotta say, guys, um, motion has extremely improved. That was one of my biggest complaints um, with the A95K. It was just a nightmare to me. Um, but it looked so juddery and so bad to me. And which really was upsetting, because Sony was is known for great motion, but um, I just felt like even my older Sony had better motion than the A95K. I had a really nice 85-inch LED. I think it was like the CH900, I believe, back in the day, around 2000, I think 1920, yeah, about 19, 20, 20, and I had it for a couple years. um, Got rid of it, sold it, but anyways, that TV had no issues with motion. I thought it was the smoothest uh, TV that I've actually ever owned, so I was really excited about the A95K, and just didn't get that same kind of motion. um, but yeah, so anyways, the 895L, big step up from that last year. I don't really see, there are times where, yeah, you can see some motion issues. But again, there are times where I can see some motion issues on both the S95C and the LG G3. So, it's not all perfect. But I would say probably the most consistent with best motion clarity, in my personal opinion, I got to go with the G3. I just think it's just the most consistent. You have the least amount of issues with it. Um, the S95C is also really, really good. But, I just, give a lot of credit to Sony for fixing whatever that issue was. I think they noticed it, even though they're not going to admit to it with the A95K. But it's gotten a lot better, and it's pretty much on par right now with the best TVs when it comes to motion, and I don't complain about it anymore at all. As you can see while I'm playing, the motion is fantastic on all three of these TVs. You're not really seeing any judder, any serious issues there, um, any artifacts banding or anything like that. They just pretty much, the A95L is right on par. So again, that's just my personal opinion, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Um, if you have any questions about, these TVs, hardware wise, software wise, picture quality wise, please let me know in the comments. I could always talk a lot more about, which TV I think is, the best in these categories. So I'll just make it really, really short. But as far as uh, build quality, I got to give it overall to the G3, even though the A95L is very, very close to it. But I just feel like the G3 is better built. Menu system, I got to give it probably to give it a tie to the A95L and the G3. They are very equal in the way you can manage and customize your settings. I just like the layout of them and the organization of them. I think they're both very equal but different in their own way. Um, so Sound obviously will go to the A95L. It's just great. Um, that's my favorite thing about the A95L, is really the sound, or one of my favorite things about the A95L. Navigating through the TV and the operating system, definitely for me, the LG G3, that WebOS system. It could be because I'm so used to it because I've owned so many LG TVs, but I just feel like even now, using the WebOS system, the Google system, and I actually use the A95L the most out of all three of my TVs, and then the S95C. I just feel like the WebOS system is the easiest system to use. It's very fluid. Um, processing or navigating through The menu system is through WebOS is easy to me, and it's the least laggy out of all of them as well. So that's really, the short story for that. Um, and value, I would probably say, oh yeah, here, I just want to use this as an example. Here's another scene that I've noticed where the contrast looks really, really good on the LG. So if you look right over there, where the fire is, the rock surrounding the fire, you see, it's funny because the purity in the A95L and actually the Samsung S95C of the fire look really good. The LG looks good too, but if you look at the rocks around that fire pit, I'm trying to get a good angle here. They just look more 3D like in the A95L. But I'm sorry, not the A95L, the G3. So, but anyways, yeah, that's really what I notice a lot. But back to my other cat value, I would got it. As far as value goes, I would say I'm probably gonna have to give it to the G3, just because right now, price wise, the 55-inch A95L is 24.99. The 65-inch A95L is 32.99, and then the 77-inch is $5,000. The G3, the 55-inch is 17.99. 65-inch is 22.99, and 77-inch is 34.99. And then the S95C, 17.99 for the 55 inch, 65 inches, 22.99, and then 77 inches for 77 inches, 34.99, and then the S90C, which probably is the best value out of the TVs that I don't have. 55 inch, 14.99, 65 inch, 15.99, 77 inch, 22.99, and then the non QD OLED 83 inch is 34.99. So, other than that, I think if you're really trying to get the best bang for your buck, you're you're either going to go with the S90C, great TV, not very many dropout issues. Um, I'll probably pick that before the S95C, the TV that I have, as a matter of fact. Um, but besides that, if you don't want the S90C, um, then I would probably go with the G3 out of the three TVs that you see in front of you in this video for the best bang for your buck. Um, the processing is right on par with the A95L. The fine details are still almost neck and neck with the A95L. Um, and the customization settings, the menu system, what you can do with the TV is phenomenal. The build quality is, to me, the best out of all of them. With that kind of like metal frame that goes around, I love it. At first, I didn't like it, but then it just grew on me. But yeah, that's just basically my personal opinion on these TVs. Let me know what you guys think, please. I really appreciate it. Thanks again, guys, for all your comments. Really, really appreciate it. Um, you guys are awesome in the comments. You guys are so kind, and I really appreciate everything that you guys do for me as far as your support goes and all the kind words. Um, and let me know, guys. I'll keep doing more videos, but I really want to know what you guys want to see, what you guys want me to compare. While we wait for the 2024 models, I'm anticipating the 83-inch G4. That's the TV that I have my eye on the most. I'm looking forward to that TV. I'm really looking forward to seeing what that AI processing can actually do with their new processor. I think that even though we've kind of been, um, you know, brainwashed by all the gimmicks and all that in the past, I think that this is actually going to be something where they kind of stepped up the processing in a big way, and I'm excited about it. So, um, and I think they're doing that to try to really take their place back in the best TVs. And I think they're also trying to prove a point in a sense where you can still be standard WRGB OLED and be number one. And I think that's what they're going to try to prove. Now, can they do it? That's going to be the question. But you know, you never know. We'll see. So I'm excited for it either way. That's a TV I have my eye on, and I think that's a TV I'm pretty much 90% sure I'm going to purchase. And we'll be running some comparisons with that TV too. All right, guys. So let me know what you guys want to see. Do you want to see more gaming? Do you want to see more movie comparisons? You guys want to see whatever? Just let me know. Thank you so much.